Do the police have to warn a suspect of their rights before interrogation? To find out, you have to read Miranda versus Arizona, but it's 60 pages long. Don't have time for that? I've got you covered. This is Too Long Didn't Read, the channel where I normally cover New York Court of Appeals cases in 5 minutes or less. But this is part of a special limited series on landmark United States Supreme Court cases. This episode is on the ultra-famous and important case of Miranda versus Arizona, from which we get the Miranda warnings we see in all of the legal procedural shows. The citation for this case is 384 U.S. 436. The case was published on June 13, 1966. The issue in this case is whether an interrogation of a suspect that takes place without explicitly warning the suspect of his rights is subject to suppression on that basis. To better understand this case, a little background is helpful. The Fifth Amendment to the United States Constitution contains many protections for citizens, including the right to trial by jury, the right to due process, the protection against double jeopardy. But importantly for this case, the Fifth Amendment protects the citizen from being forced to testify against himself or to be a witness against himself. The amendment itself states, "No person shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself." The Sixth Amendment to the United States Constitution contains additional protections for criminal defendants, including the right to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. As you can tell, the Constitution provides for protections, but does not explicitly state that the police have to inform you of these rights, which leads directly to the Miranda versus Arizona case at issue here. So, what are the facts here? This case actually refers to 4 separate criminal cases. In each of the cases, the police arrested a defendant and interrogated them extensively, resulting in confessions in which the defendants admitted to committing the offenses. At trial, the prosecutors used those confessions against the defendants, and they were all convicted. For example, in the case of Miranda, Mr. Miranda was arrested for kidnapping and rape in Arizona. He was picked out of a lineup and then interrogated for multiple hours, after which he confessed to the crime. This evidence was used against him, and he was convicted. However, there was a significant problem. Miranda wasn't informed of his right to remain silent or his right to an attorney. This oversight would have major implications. This critical omission formed the basis of his appeal. His case would eventually lead to the establishment of the Miranda rights, changing the way police handle interrogations forever. After appealing the case all the way to the United States Supreme Court, Miranda and the other similarly situated defendants got the decision they were waiting for. In a 5-4 decision, the narrow majority held that law enforcement must advise suspects of their Fifth Amendment right to remain silent and their Sixth Amendment right to obtain an attorney before interrogation. The consequences if police fail to give those warnings is that the results of the interrogation, meaning any confession, may be suppressed and may not be usable at trial. In arriving at this decision, the majority reviewed the history of interrogations, noting that some police officers historically have utilized physical brutality to obtain confessions. This use of force to obtain confessions is called the third degree. Use of physical force carried many dangers, including 1. False confessions where a person confesses to a crime they did not commit, and 2. It makes police and prosecutors less diligent to search for objective evidence because a confession is so effective at trial. And 3. It makes police officers more hardened and less compassionate. And 4. It makes prisoners angrier at society. And 5. It reduces society respect for the administration of justice and the police. The majority also stressed that beyond physical force, the police may also use psychological force in interrogations. Psychological pressures are applied on arrestees including 1. Being uncomfortable, 2. Staying awake, 3. Being in a strange place or scary place, 4. Domineering strategies like good cop, bad cop, 5. Trickery or deception by police officers. The Supreme Court, recognizing these inherent power imbalances between the police and suspects, overturned Miranda's conviction. The court held that without proper safeguards in place, the process of interrogation of in-custody suspects are inherently coercive, and the resulting confession is not freely and voluntarily given. This landmark decision was a significant step towards ensuring fairness in the legal process. The court then gave the famous Miranda warnings that must be given before interrogation takes place. The police must inform the suspect: 1. That he has the right to remain silent. 2. Anything said can and will be used against them in court. 3. That he has the right to consult with a lawyer and to have a lawyer with him during interrogation. 4. If he is indigent, a lawyer will be appointed to represent him. At that point, if the suspect invokes his right to remain silent, the questioning must stop. If the suspect invokes his right to counsel, the questioning must stop, and they must get him a lawyer or decide not to ask any more questions. The court held that suspects must be informed of their constitutional rights before interrogation. This ruling underscored the importance of protecting individual freedoms against potential abuses of power. The court emphasized that these rights are fundamental and must be protected. This decision reinforced the principle that justice should be accessible to everyone. Failure to inform suspects of these rights would render any confession inadmissible in court. This ruling has had a lasting impact on law enforcement practices and the protection of individual rights. This case has absolutely transformed law enforcement and crime investigation. It has been cited tens of thousands of times since it was decided and has made the Miranda Warnings one of the most recognizable and popular rules of law. For generations at this point, and likely more generations to come, the Miranda case stands as a testament to the continuing power of the Bill of Rights to protect the public from overreach by the government.
If you like what you just saw and want to see more just like it, please hit like or subscribe to let me know.